Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. It's Saturday evening for those of us who are watching it from United States, and Sunday early morning for those of you who are watching from India and various time zones in between. We're going to talk about the top 5 things that Sridhar Chityala ji thinks Trump is going to take up, and what are these, what is the import, what are the chances that these will happen the way it is intended to happen. All this and more with Sridhar Chityala ji. Sridhar ji, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel. How are you?
Namaskar, good morning. Very happy, wonderful to be here after historic, momentous, and glorious victory by President Trump and his party. We're delighted to state that, we covered the full results and we were almost on the dot in terms of our predictions and analysis. So very pleased, Sriji.
Sir, let's talk about the top 3 items in Trump's aggressive agenda. He has hit the ground running. He has done a few press conferences and a lot of information that is still being disseminated by people. Sridhar ji, this is a first in the sense he's got big plans. And how much of those are going to bear fruit, that is depending on the execution. Your thoughts on the top 3 things that he's going to be maniacal in his focus to try and get those things done. Over to you, sir.
Great, thank you. I think economy would be his number 1 priority, and that is what he ran on. His plank is economy. That's number 1. He's going to have very quickly assessing all the kind of programs that are currently in plan and part of the Inflation Reduction Act, and he's going to come down quite dramatically on that. So number 1 is economy. He has already stated in his post-election speech energy and energy resources. So many of these sustainable programs and climate accords, they're going to come down, and his second priority is going to be around restoring our United States, natural gas as well as the shale gas. So he's going to renew leases, and he's going to see that the energy policy that was going downhill under the prior regime is brought back into the fore. So economy and energy, if I club, that's number 1 priority. What is number 2 priority? Number 2 priority is going to be immigration. Is front center about immigration or deportation of number of illegals and enforcing deportation for those who have somehow snuck into the country. So that's going to be his number 2 priority. He's already indicated he will strengthen the law enforcement agencies in states, and they would work with National Guard in terms of implementing these programs. So I think that would be his number 2 priority. If I have to pick number 3 priority is going to be around the foreign policy. He has made 3 important already dictums on the foreign policy. What's number 1? Number 1, he has told Mr. Netanyahu, clean up, execute, complete the war. I give you the full authority. The longer the war goes, it's a problem for you, Israel, so get it cleaned up. Number 1. Number 2 is also indicated to Qatar. You got a whole bunch of Hamas guys sitting there, and you have encouraged, asked them to get out. And Hamas has already Qatar is responding by saying, please get out because you are no longer interested in the peace process. He has, believe it or not, he has had a dialogue with Mr. Abbas, of the Palestinian leader, and he has said, I will try to address this Gaza issue and Palestinian issue. What he is trying to say is restoration of peace rather than, and that will probably encompass Israeli involvement in it so that there is peace and tranquility. So he has made that. He has also told Zelensky, I'm not going to support, I'm not going to fund your war, and find a peaceful resolution by sitting across the table with the Russians.
Sridhar ji, I'll start from Ukraine and work backwards. There has been talk that the Biden administration is somehow trying to sneak in another $6 billion of what do we call aid/loan, as whatever you want to call it, to Ukraine, and that the new administration perhaps is not going to allow that to happen. See, this is where we are entering into this gray zone, right? The previous administration has committed to giving that, and the new administration will probably say no. How do these things fall, sir? Which way do they fall?
It goes back to your question. What does the transit team do? The transit team will be sitting across and basically validating, said, no, this is not our policy. You lost the election. okay, you can be status quo till we take over. This policy we have to assess, not you. So there will be some checks and balances. And I think both the administrations already, I think he has met or shaken hands with Harris. He has spoken with Biden. He'll be meeting Biden in White House. And the Department of Justice and other fellows have stated that they would not be putting any roadblocks for the transit team security. So therefore, you will see the transit team working hard in terms of making sure things like this are not going to sneak in, Shriji.
Thank you so much, sir. Now let's go to the second item, which is CCP's drug strategy. He has already announced that he is going to use every resource available at his hand, in his hand. For example, Navy, the United States Navy is going to be patrolling the waters off of the coast to make sure that nothing reaches U.S. shores via sea. And he was also, taken aim at various things. For example, calling drug manufacturers as terrorists, so that the way they are prosecuted becomes slightly different. Sridhar ji, unlike India, US doesn't have any such compunctions about kidnapping anybody, even a head of a state, and bringing them into the United States for a trial.
Well, I think there are two mechanisms that's going to come into play. One is a lot of deportation and illegal sneaking in is going to address this issue. Okay, much of this happened because drug cartels were at free movement across the borders to smuggle all kinds of things, including the drugs. Okay, so that's one. Number two, there's already existing networks operating within the United States. So I think he's going to kind of go after them. The third, that what you said, is patrolling the seas, if that is one of the venues through which this is sneaking in, Sriji. So there's going to, they have a fairly a good understanding of what it takes based on the work that they did in the prior administration in terms of addressing some of this. But I've been in touch on, it's probably a fourth priority, which is going to be his top of the agenda. He's going to hurt the Chinese with tariffs. Robert Lighthizer is already, if you remember Robert Lighthizer, we covered a lot of it in DGIs. Robert Lighthizer is going to take up a trade. He is kind of maniacal on the tariffs. So the tariffs could go from 10 to 40% if this. So he will use an indirect policy to hurt the Chinese and send a message should these kinds of activities continue, Sriji.
Sir, I have a slide deck for possible nominees, and if time permits, we will take a look at that today, sir. But right now, what I would like to do is to go to the next topic, which is Fed rate cut. Is it too little, too late? In all this noise of elections, the Federal Reserve has cut the basic lending rate by 0.25%. That happened on Wednesday. Today we are on Saturday night in US, Sunday morning in India. Sir, this 0.25% cut, is it too little, too late, or too much? What are your thoughts, sir?
No, I think that, the way, I'm a banker, so I'm a market economist and a banker. So the way we kind of look at these things is, okay, the fiscal tools will continue to be applied in terms of managing unemployment and inflation. So whenever you talk about rate cuts, it goes into that. To address the real true issues, there's a difference between the policies of the two administrations. Now, for example, the lady Madam Harris wanted to take the corporate rate to 28% and wanted to tax on unrealized gains. So he is going to address on the fiscal side the implications of how to address. So he's going to bring the corporate tax back to 21%. He is going to give concessions on the individual tax rates. He is going to give, especially what we call as the realized gains, and to about 15% on the corporate side. As well as on the individual side. So you're going to see that broad category of tax cuts as part of his norm. Economists also argue, whether that will really kind of address the issue around the deficit, because whenever you talk about rate cuts, it has two implications. One, how does it affect the economy and the people who are participants in the economy? Second, how does it affect, as far as the United States is concerned, the big data item which is sitting on the balance sheet? So I have a feeling he's going to address the debt item by coming up with measures which brings the debt down through other measures rather than through using purely interest rate as a mechanism. Whether he will indulge in some asset sales to bring, we'll see.
Thank you, sir. Now, this is a very important topic that has not been mentioned, but Sridhar ji brought it up. He's going to expand on this. Sir, this Bangladesh usurped government really could not have happened without the blessings of the United States. Biden administration did it. There's no doubts about it. Right now, nobody knows who's in control because the Biden administration has been allegedly trying to tell the Bangladesh military to make sure that the minorities such as the Hindus in Bangladesh are not affected. However, much of that stuff has fallen on deaf ears. Now, Trump, a week before the elections, had come out strongly in support of the Hindus of Bangladesh. Does this mean that Trump is going to tell India, look, this is your neighbor, see what you can do to clean this thing up? I am going to wash my hands off of it. Because this fear is big, sir, because if, let's say, US just washes its hands off of it, China will just come in. India is still sitting on the border, I think. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, I think you brought up, I would say, at least two issues. The first issue that you brought up is what's he going to do about the Bangladeshi Hindus and the persecution that is going on at will with a blind eye, because the administration and the perpetrators of the crime alleged crime in Bangladesh, seems to be encouraged by the people within from United States, under the previous regime. His statement is a telling testimony that he is not going to do any of these things for granted. There is a very important statement that in his post-election speech that President-elect Trump made, which is, Mr. Modi is an interesting man, have a good relationship, and he wants to do a few things we are going to let him do. It is a very important statement. Go back and listen to that press. So I think he is going to give him free rein in terms of addressing the issues if he believes that both of them have enormous amount of trust, though they may not agree with each other on trades and tariffs and investments and so on, but both of them agree on broad strategic kind of an agenda. So I think India will have a free hand. I'm told that, Mr. Muhammad Yunus is already, contemplating, when is his kind of exit from Bangladesh and how does he make his exit? By the way, he is also not spared words in terms of criticism of President-elect Trump. So that's not going to stand well for him. If you have the student leaders who are targeting, they better pack their bags to go back to where they came from. Otherwise, I think Modi is coming. Modi is coming with whichever form he wants. The other thing, Sriji, is I think there's also going to be some kind of a resolution on this Khalistani issue within United States, across United States, and in India.
Thank you, sir. And viewers, I would like your feedback on this format. We are doing a lot of items in very quick time, and we have a new format here. Sridharji and I would love to have your feedback on this, because progressively we are going to use something like this in the in the next few episodes with Sridharji, because we think that this is very effective in telling you what you can expect, and then we will expand on each line item. By the way, there's another slide deck that is coming, a rapid fire round questions for Sridharji. As I give up now, I suggest some names and he can say yes, no, maybe 3 options for you, Sridharji, but that's coming in just one moment. Last one, warning to Qatar, is there a change in US strategy?
Very clear change in US strategy. They're not going to tolerate any of the kind of terrorist activities and the shelters being given. Qatar has been given a clear briefing to expel and get this Hamas people out of Qatar, and Qatar has already responded to that threat or request, and you will begin to see probably Qatar cleaning up its act in terms of who it houses in its territory. And remember, Qatar is also wants to be an ally of United States, along with Saudis, and if you go back to the West Asia Accords, peaceful accords or Abrahamic Accords, the truth will come out. Yes, Sriji, on that point.
Thank you so much, Sridharji. Now I am going to show you what we think is Trump's likely team. I'm sure 100% that we are not going to get all of them right. However, we are going to suggest a few. In fact, some of them have already happened. So I'm just going to show that to you, Sridharji, and seek your inputs on who you think is going to make it. And sometimes you can say he might be in the administration, but not that portfolio. So 3 choices for each name: yes, no, maybe. And you can expand on this, sir. Here is the first one: 𝗠cie 𝗲𝗍𝘅, Chief of Staff. This is confirmed.
Done, confirmed.
Mark Paoletta, Attorney General.
Possible. Maybe.
Oh, that's a maybe. That's a maybe. Tom Homan for Homeland Security and Immigration Control.
Maybe.
Mark Rubio for Secretary of State.
Strong possibility.
Richard Grenell for NSA or the Director of CIA.
Most probably Director of CIA. NSA is going to Kash Patel.
Oh, okay. That comes up just in a moment. John Ratcliffe, top security and intelligence related posts. John Ratcliffe.
Possible Attorney General, I think, Sriji.
Okay. Mike Pompeo.
Possible. One of two.
Jeffrey Jensen.
Strong possibility.
Kash Patel.
National Security Agency, NSA.
Okay.
He will play an important role. Yeah. See, CIA director requires Senate approval. I mean, he has ruffles few feathers there. So therefore, I don't know whether that will get through.
Sir, this would come as a surprise to you. Robert Lighthizer for Treasury.
No, Robert Lighthizer has already been told that he is the trade and commerce czar, and to go after.
So this is a definite no. Robert Kennedy Jr.
He's coming. He's already started. Looking for people. He's the health.
Elon Musk.
Yes. No, he's not. I don't know whether he will be kind of head of, but he is going to be driving. He has indicated, raised his hand. Efficiency program, inside or outside. I think he's getting that assignment.
So that brings us to a close of this part of the program. Sridhar ji, I'm now going to request you to take a look at some questions. We've been getting a lot of questions today, so I'm hoping that you have a few minutes to answer. We're doing well. 17 minutes into the program, we had this limit that we will stop by 20-25 minutes. Let's just go through the questions. Some may not be very long. Here we go. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for your super sticker. Thank you, Kat, for becoming YouTube member. Thank you, Ravishankar Vavuli, for becoming YouTube member. Maithili wants to know, Namaskaram, Sridhar ji, how true is the fact that federal government jobs may be clipped?
It'll take time, but I think there will be no new recruiting, and they will try to, wherever it is possible. There's a fair amount of temporary workers. Remember, in the last administration, we again covered in DGI that many of these jobs he strengthened and gave them long-term. One of the challenges of federal government is once such jobs are created and commitments made, you cannot displace them.
Thank you, sir. Next question from Success. When can we see tax cuts?
2026.
And Maithili ji again, Sridhar ji, what will be the impact of this rate cut on India? This is the Fed rate cut by 0.25%.
I think there are 3 macroeconomic factors which will influence India's economic. Rate cut is one of them. I think the second very important development is the reduction in current and future energy prices, which is a very big item within the bill, within the government's expenditure side. The third item is the geopolitical kind of uncertainty. Now with Trump in power, you are going to see far more geopolitical certainty, and last being the strategic partnership between India and United States, which nothing augurs but strengthens India's position overall. So fiscal, monetary, and as well as security will strengthen India's economic position by virtue of the new leadership.
Thank you, sir. Next question from Rajiv Sashidharan. Sridhar ji, can Modi implement CAA and NRC? Because Trump talks about illegal immigration. In India, we are facing this for decades. If any action is taken, the NGOs of USA start protesting.
Look, I think this is a domestic policy issue within India, so I just don't know how much I can comment. But and I'm told that the CAA and NRC programs they are going to implement, and he probably will not have many hurdles, just like what he faced with intervention in Bangladesh. The question is, how does the Indian Indian legal system, stall or help making this happen? Is probably one question. And what's the political will of Modi? Now, I would say with Trump coming in, many of these so-called allies, are going to strengthen and not be shaky within the Modi administration. I think that should give him a lot of courage, because many of them are reliant on US investments.
Thank you, sir. Next question from Jack Sparrow. Sridhar ji, welcome back. Trump has invented 15 million or invested, I think, 15 million on crypto. What's your prediction for the cryptocurrency? Do you see worldwide adoption?
Two questions. He's a crypto geek. He's a crypto optimist. People expect crypto to be Bitcoin to be $100,000 and above. So there is a very positive momentum expected for those who are the crypto boys. No, worldwide adoption is entirely a different matter. It's nothing to do with Trump. There's lots of things to happen, and we had covered several shows where we said it will remain an alternate asset class rather than mainstream.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, what I would like to ask you is one last question. This is my question. I'm trying to turn this comment off. Just give me 1 second while I turn the comment off. Well, let me give you my question. My question is, there was some sort of chatter on X that Elon had joined a meeting between Trump and Putin. Did it really take place? And if so, where is the war headed?
I don't have any input that he has joined that meeting with that apparently took place between Putin and Trump, and where Musk was involved. By and large, Trump has been, Elon Musk has been supportive of many policies of Trump, not on just one matter, but also on geopolitics, strategy, etc. Remember, Elon Musk is not just EV cars and batteries. He is a satellite man. So his satellites to run on orbits and provide kind of both as well as commercial and intelligence for war. A partnership is needed. So he has a very good partnership with in that context with Trump. So I would assume that there would be some kind of an arrangement that will be worked out with Putin. Otherwise, it was like shooting stars under the Biden regime.
Thank you so much, Sridhar ji. Viewers, that's it for today, and we'll be back again shortly. I don't know exactly when. We're trying to make this thing a periodic thing, and we will keep you informed. Sridhar ji, what a pleasure and honor to have you again back, sir. Today we had a rapid fire session because we really went through a lot of topics. Viewers, tell us if you like this format, because we want to really be crisp and to the point and cogent. Thank you once again, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you, Namaskar, and have a wonderful day if you are in India and Asia, and have a wonderful evening if you happen to be in the United States.
Thank you, sir.